When you mention Bo Nix, make sure you paint the full picture. SEC Freshman of the Year, Pac-12 Offensive Player of the Year, and Heisman finalist. With the change of scenery came with much controversy and speculation. Most of his critics will never acknowledge the road travel and the accomplishments that came from it. We are going to break down Bo Nix, why he may be the best quarterback in this draft class, and most importantly, make the haters mad. On a slider scale similar to the Madden football games, I will rank arm talent, decision-making, and athleticism based on a 100-point scale. At the end of this video, you will have a comprehensive outlook on this player without having to know every detail about the X's and O's, and also having a knowledgeable approach similar to an NFL scout. This is Sliders. There's no mystery Bo Nix has been in college for a long time. Due to COVID year waivers, coaching changes, and the transfer portal, not to anyone's surprise, he has the NCAA record for most career starts. I guess you can say he's aged like fine wine, as he's tied number 1 in completion percentage next to the likes of NFL quarterback Mac Jones. For those that think Bo Nix was a bad SEC quarterback, it's just a myth. Not only did he win SEC Freshman of the Year, but he also led the Auburn Tigers to a 9-4 record and a 48-45 win over Alabama in the Iron Bowl, which is one of the biggest college football rivalry games. Battling injuries in 2021 and a coaching change, which was not only detrimental to Bo, but Auburn's team in general, he later transferred to Oregon for a new start with first-time head coach and former defensive coordinator for Georgia, Dan Lanning. This was a surprise because the Nix name is associated with Auburn because of his dad, Patrick Nix, who once played quarterback for the Tigers. Despite what many have speculated, Bo never had a losing record in his 5-year career. Bo is number 6 all-time in passing yardage, was the Fiesta Bowl MVP, and on top of all his other accolades, won the William V. Campbell Trophy. This award is known as the Academic Heisman, which celebrates the college player with the best academics, community service, and on-field performance. So say what you want, that might be more impressive than an actual Heisman win. Now let's dive into Bo Nix's actual play on the field, why I think he's a top 2 quarterback in this draft, starting with arm talent. I think a lot of people question Bo Nix's arm talent over the years, and this year it was the complete package. When we talk about passes downfield, that's one thing that they worked on, from having Kenny Dillingham as their offensive coordinator to getting a totally new offensive coordinator and them changing some things around the Dan Lanning system. They really focused on, let's stop dinking and dunking so much and getting yards from that. Let's actually have Bo trust his receivers a little bit. Him and Troy Franklin's relationship was awesome. They brought his adopted brother in Tez Johnson, and he was really incredible this year. I think he led the team in catches, but the downfield passes this year were on target. In their breadbasket led this receiver where they didn't have to stop running full speed to get to where they needed to go. And I think that was one of the most impressive things in his game, and possibly he was the best quarterback last year in downfield passes as far as accuracy. Now, what we ranked Bo Nix's arm talent was a 36 out of 40. And the way that I'm talking about, some people are probably questioning, why is he need a 37 or a 38? Bo Nix has the tendency to fall apart later on in games. As far as like late in the fourth quarter, especially, we've seen it against the Washington game where he threw an errant, interception, trying to force it in there. Some people were questioning if he was trying to throw it out of bounds, things like that, or just trusting his receivers a little bit too much. You don't like to see that type of stuff. Sometimes in the intermediate routes, he has trouble, laying the ball kind of low, it coming off his hand a little weird. But other times he throws a backside comeback low in the receiver's hands, which is where you're supposed to place it because it's the lowest probability of that pass getting batted up and in the air. And I think a lot of people don't understand that. But I think the most impressive part of his game is the trust that he has with his receivers. It doesn't matter who's on that team, he tends to put it in their hands, not in their arms, not in their chest. There's been several passes on the sideline where his receivers reach with their hands to try to get it. That's some NFL type caliber stuff. I mean, anytime NFL prospects, get talked about, are you a hands catcher or are you a body catcher? And I think he set his receivers up for success to the next level because they're used to that from him. He's used to that Dan Marino-ish type throws where we're putting it inside your hands, and only truly putting it, when you hear that term, put put it where only the receiver can get it, that's what he does. I think he's a little inconsistent when he's throwing on the run too, but you know, super athletic guy, which we'll talk about here a little later. But let's go into the film and break down some of the immaculate throws that he made last year and why I was such a big fan of his this year. Bo Nix is one of the best quarterbacks coming out in this draft. All right, this play right here against Texas Tech, which they struggled against, but Bo Nix kept them in the game. We got an all-out go here. We got this man in motion. This is actually a tight end, but these guys are going to run just go routes down the field. And now what I want you to see is that Bo Nix is going to put this ball on pretty much the money. And when we talked about leading the receiver downfield, putting it right in the breadbasket so he doesn't have to lose momentum, this is what we talk about here. So let's go ahead and play this. Motion man sets his base, steps up in the pocket. A nice formation here. No heel clicking going on. That front toe is pointing where it needs to go. Not a big wind up on this arm right here. And you already see the receiver is beating this guy downfield. Now, what we want to go back and just check out here is this defense is playing way too shallow for an all-out go. They just weren't prepared for the speed of this. So go ahead and get it out there. And as you see, leads the receiver downfield. This was a man beater for sure. The safety wasn't able to get there in time. But look at the placement of the ball. Whenever your receiver has got that thing right in front of him, that is an NFL caliber throw. Not short arm, never lost momentum, gets the ball down the field, and Troy Franklin is just going to run this thing in for a touchdown off the get, responding to Texas Tech on the 0-7 score. All right, we're talking about difficulty of throws here. We got a single high safety on this play. We got, you know, their favorite alignment here. Got four lined up, 4 verts maybe. Nah, single backfill with this running back. So what you're going to see here, I believe this is Troy Franklin, or it's Troy Franklin or Tej Johnson, one of them. What you're going to see is this receiver come up and run this comeback route. Now, anything considered when your back is pointing this way, this is all backside throws. Difficulty of throws, guys. I always talk about this. I want you to see when the ball comes out, where he places the ball. So got a nice base set up here. Doesn't get rattled by the pressure. It's got pressure all over those edges coming around. Gets the ball out. And by the time the receiver is right there at the first down marker, so that looks like it's Troy Franklin, he's able to make a play on first down. Beautiful throw and catch. I love this stuff out of Bo Nix. Being able to make this type of pass and give your receiver a chance. As soon as that comeback happens, he's got the ball out there ready for him to catch it. So it's not high, not low, not any of those things. Right in the chest. He could have probably made a play, you know, if he wasn't sticking his foot all the way in the dirt to get around and make that first down. But on 1st and 10, difficulty on throws, backside curl routes and comeback routes, difficulty of throws, guys. That's not an easy throw. I really think decision making out of all the traits here is the best part of Bo Nix's game. Despite his score that we're going to give because of that second half kind of fourth quarter collapse that we were talking about that may happen, you understand why he's throwing the ball where he is. You understand the offense. Play out of shotgun most of the time. Runs that, you know, that spread type of offense. What we want to do is get the ball out quickly, get a couple yards, and maybe take our chance downfield. And he's really good at running that style of offense. And guess what? A lot of NFL teams, that's going to be very attractive because they know that he can come in and run that style of offense. He gives himself and the offense the best chance to advance the ball down the field. Oregon wasn't about big play after big play after big play and risking all the chances that they have to win the game. There was, you know, we're going to run the ball effectively. We're going to screen pass, run the spread effectively, and then we're going to kill you downfield when we see an opening or a vulnerability once those backside guys start cheating up. Kind of the decision maker score that we gave him here was a 32 42 out of 40. Nothing to scoff at, but I think the best part of everything that he does is he lets his offensive line develop, and it's almost like he has a spidey sense for those edge rushers. Even on the backside, you'll see him step up in the pocket. You'll see that thing almost completely collapse before he decides to roll out of the pocket. And then he also, under pressure, it doesn't matter, he gets the ball out, and he's not depending on, you know, where he's standing and the fundamentals of playing quarterback, he's not a big wind-up guy. He doesn't have that Tim Tebow type of, I know we mentioned that before, but he doesn't have that Tim Tebow arm where it's unpredictable. He's very fundamentally sound, and that makes for his decision making even better, especially with the arm talent as well. So digging to the film with some of his decision making, this may not be the funnest to watch. We're not going to show any huge plays, but I want to break down what his mindset is on every single pass or every single run that he's going to make here. So enjoy this one. All right, as we talked about earlier, running the spread here, you're going to see a lot of fake handoffs to the running back. So he's just going to fake it inside here. This tight end is going to be worried about blocking this corner up top. And then what you're going to see is a bunch of in-breaking routes here from these receivers. And watch this guy inside in particular. This is a decision that's going to be made right here in the middle of the field. Bo Nix is going to decide that, okay, we got two safeties high here. Everybody's pretty shallow across the board. So this running back's going to try to find somebody to block up here. We're going to take this guy out from the outside. And if we can get to the second level and confuse these inside guys here, this inside nickel and this outside corner, and get this guy to bite down, this part of the field is going to be open, but it's going to be a very, very tight window. This is one of them plays that we're setting momentum to start the game. And let's watch this pan out. So Bo Nix is going to get that ball off here to the running back. And right there, number 15, 𝙁Johnson. As you see, everybody stacked up. This linebacker cheated up. And we pretty much got an umbrella here with a wide open space with 𝙁Johnson to make this catch. This was absolutely the right decision on this pass. Beautiful decision making by Bo Nix, especially to start out the game on their first possession in the first play. Get them upfield, try to get the first down marker. Now you make this a second and a couple to get the first down. So let's look at the personnel group in here in the second quarter, right at the beginning with 12 minutes, first down. They're in a goal line stance here. They're going to have this receiver just try to run some type of fade to get into the end zone. We understand that we're stacked. This edge rusher is probably this edge rusher here is probably hot. What I mean by hot is these guys are probably going to rush the quarterback, and everybody on the line of scrimmage is going to stack this offensive line and try to break through and get Bo Nix, because they know that there's a lot of plays that go up the middle in the spread formation, but this is actually going to be a fake handoff. They're going to bite on that. And what you're going to see is this high safety right here. He's going to bite on the play. And this tight end right on the edge, after they got 1, 2, 3, he's going to try to play the flat here in the pass game. So let's watch the smarts of Bo Nix. This shouldn't have been a touchdown, but because he gave his team every single chance to be successful, you can't teach this type of stuff. So let's go ahead and start it here. Bo Nix fake handoff. Look at all the guys that are rushing in. Because we had a release from the tight end, we don't have extra protection here. And now Troy Franklin has to beat these two guys out. This guy's going to play the flat. The actual safety took the coverage on the wide receiver. We got 𝗕𝘂𝘀𝗀𝘀𝗀𝗀 here going up to try to block. And look at just this situation. This is highly unlikely that he should have survived. We got an offensive lineman on the ground from this guy. We got 4 guys around Bo Nix. So what he's going to do is he's going to make a jump ball pass now that he identifies that the safety is falling down, because he thought that this was going to be a sack. So he was actually moving forward. What you're going to see is Troy Franklin right in the end zone, open. This pass is complete. And that was just one of those plays that you don't script to happen. It just happens because the athleticism and decision making of a smart quarterback like Bo Nix. So I hate to say that each category is like the best category for Bo Nix, but on a scale of, you know, versus arm talent and athleticism, these are the two he scored obviously the highest in. And athleticism, we gave him a 17 out of 20. Now, if you've never seen Bo Nix play, this is along the lines of what every single Minnesota Vikings fan says that they need. Oh, I like Kirk Cousins, I like his arm, but I wish he had a little bit more mobility in the pocket. Bo Nix is that guy. Not only does he have the arm and can make every single throw, and if you want him to spread it around and not make your offense that predictable, he's got all of that. And with the athleticism, I think he's even a little bit more athletic than what people give him credit for. Not only does he have quick feet, which is one of the categories, is footwork in the pocket. How's his footwork? How twitchy is he? Is he able to make rash decisions in the time of need and get out of that pocket and get straight up the field to not only, you know, slide, of course, and not take a lot of hits, but to get upfield, get that first down, slide, get that offense back running, and being able to make plays on his feet every single time. Now, his athletic ability is crazy good. There was one play in particular, I believe it was the first game against Washington, when he ran out the pocket. They needed a critical first down. He dove for the first down marker, and they reviewed it for like a very, very long time. But because he's so athletic, he can get there. Now, I wonder what his 40 time is. I think sometimes he can look a little slow, but as far as being shifty and getting his team those much deserved first downs and keeping the drive alive, I think he has every single tool in the toolkit. Very smart with the football. So let's go ahead and dive into the film on that. He's super fun to watch. All right, so you want some athleticism from Bo Nix? Here you go. This is the same type of formation, 11 personnel, that they like to run all the time. But as you can see, there's so many people up on this line of scrimmage. They're playing tight up here within, you know, their 20. So what we're going to see is Bo Nix wait till the last second that this window collapses in the line of scrimmage and offensive line collapses on him, and he's going to take it right up the middle, tuck this, and run it. See, by the time we get here, he recognizes that left side is collapsing more than the right side. Offensive line, some of them started taking some people out, so you can see a couple Texas Tech players down here. Outside of that, he's going to take this thing, he's going to run it smart with the ball, protect the ball, make sure it's on the side where the out of bounds is closest to him, which would be on the right side down here. And most importantly, slide. Don't take a big hit and cost your team a turnover. Super athletic play. Decision making to throw it versus run it, you get a little bit of that there as well. This should be very attractive to any NFL scout as far as what the NFL is looking for. This is your prototypical type of quarterback that everybody wants, that not only a gunslinger, but can get out the pocket and scramble and extend the downs and extend the drive. All right, we got another scramble here, but I just want to describe what Bo Nix is kind of seeing on this play. So we got a single backfield as always, since we're running the spread here. We got Tej Johnson in motion. He's going to get out here straight to the flat, and I think he was the primary receiver on this pass. Bo Nix up to this point was 14 for 15, 142 yards and 2 touchdowns. They're up 21-3, second quarter, 2 minutes to go. And, you know, they're pinned deep. So what they want to do is just kind of on a 2nd and 6, just get closer to the first down marker, make this a low pressure situation, a low probability that they, turn the ball over and get Utah a chance to get closer to that score. So go ahead, start this up. Bo Nix fakes right there. Not only does he see a hand up from the defender, but he notices that we have a guy here that's running almost full speed, and the corner could probably meet him. Bo Nix likes to throw outside the numbers to the sideline. And if this guy got the correct angle here, this could have been a nasty pick 6. So he might have been okay with the arm strength that I know Bo Nix has, but he decided to tuck it, run it, get around that right defensive end there, get up the field, and just get his team a couple yards to make this a second and closer, but smart play, smart decision making, super athletic play, and a great mind of football. This might not, again, show up on all the highlight reels out there, but you like this. It's not a loss of yardage, and you got your team a couple yards closer to the first down mark. Well, there you have it, an 85 on 100 as the score for Bo Nix that we're going to give him today. Arm talent, decision making, athleticism. Dude is a jack of all trades, man. And like I said, there are some bad things to his game. We're not going to sit here and deny that he's not the perfect quarterback. But I think going into the next level, wherever he gets drafted, he's going to be that Baker Mayfield-ish type of quarterback to me, if not a little better than that. I think he has the tools in the toolkit, not only to be an incredible leader of men, which we're going to get into, he has just that spread offense down that is so attractive in the NFL. Now, to be a backup to somebody like Jalen Hurts would be pretty awesome, and then maybe later in his career he might move on just to kind of get that mastering of how that offense is going to flow. But all in all, man, I don't want to say he's my favorite quarterback in the draft, but he's probably second or third so far. I'm super high on Bo Nix. I know a lot of people are not, but hopefully this video in particular kind of gives you a different aspect and a different appreciation for the type of quarterback that he is. He's not what everybody says that he is. And when you break down the film, playing teams like Utah and beating the absolute dog crap out of them, you have to put a feather in your cap for that. And the season that he had with Oregon is nothing to scoff at all. And I hope that his career is more celebrated than it's looked down upon. Now, here's some other traits that I like out of Bo Nix that don't get talked about very often. And maybe you've heard me mention these things before. I think he's the ultimate leader of men. When there was an interview that I think ESPN had did during the SEC, not the SEC, but the Pac-12 media day. They were asking him, why did you come back? You could have declared for the draft. You had a really good year last year with the stats that he put up. He was, a Heisman favorite, at some parts of the season. And he had said that he came back because he thought that he could help elevate that team and that they had unfinished business. But most importantly, players like Troy Franklin and Bucky Irvin and a couple of the other guys that maybe have not got the spotlight last year that they deserve, that if they won more games and were expected to be in the Pac-12 championship and possibly the college football playoff, that they could have the spotlight put on them. And I thought that that was a really cool statement and a really cool reason to come back. And it showed. He played in the bowl game. He just played in the Senior Bowl, trying to get to know other people. And Jackson Powers Johnson, not a lot of people knew about him, the center. Now people are starting to put him on the map as probably the best center in this draft. So, kudos to Bo Nix for all of that. He was one of the least sacked quarterbacks, but I think that's a little bit because of his athleticism if you watch the film. But he was the ultimate leader of men, and I have to give nothing but kudos to him in that aspect. Another part of his game that I actually really like is the fact that he's a versatile thrower, not only in the route tree, but he gets it to everybody. The tight ends ate, Ferguson ate last year, Herbert ate, Troy Franklin, Bucky Irvin, James, a lot of those guys, they got the ball and they got it a lot. Troy Franklin was known as the #1 guy, and Ted Johnson came in and I think led the team in receptions or yards. I can't remember which one it is, or maybe a combination of both. But with that being said, he's a versatile guy, and that might not be attractive in the NFL. But just like I said about Michael Pratt too, Michael Pratt's the same way. We're going to get it to everybody, and I think that's a real good strength going into the next level, because it tells you that he can adapt to any situation, and he wants to get to know those players and build great relationships with all of them, because it's a team effort at the end of the game. It's not just one person. And the other thing that I think people tend to forget about is Bo Nix is a very smart runner of the football, and he doesn't turn the ball over a lot, but he can be super explosive by being a smart runner as well. 2022 season, he ran over 500 yards and 14 touchdowns. It was a little bit lower than that this year because he was throwing the ball a lot more, and Will Stein was asking him to throw the ball, in that spread offense more to the running backs and open up that pass game for him. And of course, the offensive line got a little better having him back there for his second year as well. So those are just some positive traits that I think I don't want people to underlook about Bo Nix. All right, guys, so that's a wrap for me. Hopefully you learned a little bit of something about Bo Nix, what he does well, the things that he doesn't do well. You know, why is he projected by so many scouts to be drafted even lower than some of those other top guys when he's been probably the most consistent over the 2 years, even outside of somebody like Michael Penix Jr. Bo Nix has been on his money, and I don't understand how the play on the field is just not attractive to some people. And then you look at, I appreciate everybody watching. Ooh, as I knock down the microphone here, I appreciate everybody watching and giving this series a chance. I enjoy it, and I hope you guys enjoy it, and I hope that, you know, all these players do well, as I say all the time. So everybody be blessed and have a great week, and we'll see you on the next episode of Sliders.